Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Kachmann. Welcome to our show today. This is part of a series on stopping, preventing, reversing diabetes. Although I'm trying to spread the word throughout the communities, this is such a serious disease that 1 out of 2 people at least has it, probably more than that if they were properly tested, that I've decided to call it Rudys' War on Diabetes. Be one of my foot soldiers. Today I was at the Three Rivers Pharmacy. I had 2 ladies come over who are closely associated with different communities in the city, and they're going to work with me. So the army is getting bigger, and the reason I feel this way is that there's 30 to 50 diseases associated with diabetes, and let me hold up for you a 1-page sheet on this you can pick up at the Three Rivers Pharmacy by Concordia High, and that indicates a human figure, and that I list some of the serious diseases that are associated with diabetes, and I'll read them to you. Blindness, most common cause of blindness is retinal disease from diabetes. It usually occurs 7 years or so before the eye changes, before the diagnosis of diabetes is made, if you're not tested right, okay? If you run the testing, I'm going to recommend they catch it a lot earlier before that. It's microvascular disease. So retinal disease, hearing problems are because the vasculature is so small. The ear is first affected by an increased rise in serum insulin, which is what causes, is the beginning of type 2 diabetes. Yeah, we need to redefine diabetes. Diabetes is not your blood sugar is over 126. I've reviewed the world literature. If you would have reviewed Dr. Joseph Kraft, K-R-A-F-T book, which I'll hold up in a minute, you would see that the new definition of diabetes should be a rise in the serum insulin. That's what causes microvascular disease in the ear, in the eye, and the reproductive organs in the feet and hands, the microvasculature. Dental disease. Most of the queens from 100, 200 years ago had black teeth. Many had no teeth. Why do you think it was that? They could afford sugar, the booger and the hooker. And they were eating a lot of sugar when most of the world couldn't afford sugar. Okay? Strokes, the biggest cause of dementia, it's not Alzheimer's disease, it's diabetes. And I tell you clearly the reason is when our blood sugar goes up, insulin drives the blood sugar into the cell for energy that's needed. Okay, these are the receptors on your cells. But when these receptors are covered with triglycerides, which comes from sugar, you ate too much sugar, the blood sugar may be normal, but the serum insulin is elevating bigger and bigger and bigger because it can't get the insulin in the cell to make ATP energy. Without energy, you'd be dead. Do we test for serum insulin? No. We test for sugars. Isn't that ridiculous? It is ridiculous. It's all in the literature. They're not reading the right books. Dr. Kraft describes it very well. His book was published. You wouldn't believe this. You would not believe this. His book was published in 1975. Diabetes epidemic. Okay? And should everyone be tested? Absolutely not. Only those concerned about their future. Mm-hmm. You go to a provider today and he wants to run a blood sugar on you. Oh, it's normal, but you're overweight. Although some people have diabetes when they're thin. You don't have diabetes. It's a lie. It's a lie. If they did serum insulin on you, you find it elevated and find out you're on the path to diabetes, lose 10 pounds, and the disease is gone. No pills, no medicines, and you live to be 100. Instead, people are dying 20 years before their time, getting their legs amputated. Let me go down the list. Vascular disease, liver disease, heart transplant, renal transplants, amputations, dislocations, unannounced heart attacks. Get your chest and you die. most people who die from heart attack, 50% of them have no warning, no angina. They go like that and they fall over. Did Uncle Joe have diabetes because he just died? Oh, no, he didn't have diabetes. Yet he weighs 250 pounds, blood sugars were normal, he had diabetes. They just didn't diagnose it, okay? Impotency, amputations, dislocations, joint dysfunction, all occur by diabetes, 90% of which could be stopped, prevented, or reversed. Let's talk about the Kraft book a little more. I already knew this information because if you look at the sheet, which I've been handing out for years, and on the front page, I talk about testing a little bit. And I say on there, you should start running these tests starting at essentially at age 1. Well, I always thought that was kind of pushy. But then, after reading Dr. Kraft's book, I like confirmation. I was right. He ran his tests in Chicago, Illinois University, 72 to 75, age 3 to age 90, and they did glucose tolerance and serum insulins, and they determined that many patients had a normal blood sugar, but the serum insulins were elevated. In his book, and I say the new definition of type 2 diabetes should be elevated serum insulin. The blood sugar comes up later. HbA1c, which is 3 months of blood sugars, is good as a maintenance test, but not for correct screening. It has some value in screening, but they catch you when you're ready to get diabetes. I want to catch you before you get diabetes. Yes, because most of the complications of diabetes can occur very early. Unannounced heart attacks, strokes, etc., vascular disease. In matter of fact, in Kraft's book, page 48, he describes the earliest manifestation of type 2 diabetes is vascular disease. Physical. See, we today, what we're doing is we're diagnosing the complications of diabetes, and then which could be avoided, okay? Type 2 diabetes is what causes the diseases. Well, we act like these diseases cause the diabetes. No, these illnesses are a result of diabetes. If you can get rid of diabetes and never get it in the first place, you'd avoid all these illnesses. And there are racial disparities too, which is upsetting the least. So you don't believe me? Read this book here. Read that book. Health disparities, well documented, that type 2 diabetes is a good third higher in the black community. It's almost double the rate in South American communities. And the Burmese community, which moved into town here a number of years ago, and we love them, they have a very high rate of diabetes, because today I met with a nurse who deals with them, and she knows the leader of that group in town, and next Friday at 5:15, I'm meeting with them at their offices to try to do something about it. I hope to bring them to public access TV, and I'll have somebody from Burma, an interpreter, and we will put a tape together so they can watch it. I don't blame them. I blame us and public health, which doesn't appear to be doing a lot about it. Maybe they're kissing the issue. I'm declaring war on the issue. I don't want you to kiss the issue. I want to get rid of it. Medication saves some lives. It's important. But if you can get rid of type 2 diabetes 6 weeks, 90% of the time on average, wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah, at least that's the reason I'm pretty adamant about it. But the community is indeed participating. I speak in some churches. I get offers all the time. Now I have Purdue University and 2 of the students who are marketing students, and they're looking for a project, and they going to take on diabetes because it helps their community in the world, and they have a great website. That could be the way. I tried giving a talk at Rotary, and they're wavering. I tried to talk to head of hospitals, and they're wavering. I don't know. Is it the money, honey? I don't know. Why would you waver when you can prevent and reverse the disease to begin with? Anyway, I'll keep on trying. I don't look backwards. I push forward. And today has been a great day for me because I'm be speaking to other communities to embrace this. And probably that's how change, will occur. How can you get rid of it? Well, 25% of the people who have type 2 diabetes are actually thin. They're called tophies. Thin on the outside, but fat on the inside, fat in the liver, fat in their mesentery, fat in all their organs, but they're of normal weight. They have not been screened properly, okay? And there are certain groups like Koreans, Vietnamese, they don't seem to be overweight, but they're belly fat. Matter of fact, a belly measurement is an excellent blood test. The best measurement for type 2 diabetes, if you got a pot belly, you got to prove it to me you don't have diabetes. And that, by prove it to me, I mean correct testing. Well, my doctor says I don't have diabetes. It means nothing to me. Nothing. You got to have a normal serum insulin. Then that has meaning to me. Then I know you don't have it, okay? And I'm sorry for being tough about it, but we're talking about real life-threatening things can occur, from dementia to amputations to heart attacks to 30 other diseases which are preventable. That's the wonderful thing. So that is the reason I'm a little pushy about it, okay? So here's a book I wrote. You can see over many years how I felt about it. I thought I had only 2 or 3 books on diabetes. Well, I tell you, actually, I think it's around 5 of them. And the new book I'm writing is Rudys' War on Diabetes, just to bring it home. But look at this. Why did I call this a new slavery? Okay, people in handcuffs trying to get some donuts, okay, and other sugary products, because it is a slavery. Many people were slaves before. There were many blacks, but it could have been whites. They had no breakfast, they had no lunch. They fed them sugar cane. They grabbed themselves out of the fields and changed their genetic structure. So today, when they eat sugary products, they just explode with diabetes. I personally think, if properly tested, certain racial and ethnic groups, South Americans, for example, would be running a 90% diabetic rate. 90%. We all read in the literature now, at least 50, I think 90, because they had the wrong test done. Remember the new definition, as far as I'm concerned, and a number of other people are concerned. Dr. Kraft concerned, Dr. Mark Hyman, for example, should be the serum insulin test. And if that's elevated, okay, you're diabetic. HbA1c, glucose tolerance, we do as comparison, but they're not the final answer. There's a new definition to diabetes. It needs to be made, and I'm making it. If the American Diabetic Association, the American Medical Association, the government don't want to change, it's up to them. They're getting so much money from industry. Well, a lot of people will be dead before they will change. Okay, so blood testing is really extremely important. So 25% of people are thin. Being overweight is a result of diabetes. It's not the cause of it. Interesting. Why is that? Remember insulin? We spoke about the receptors in the cell. It's insulin's job to bring sugar into the cell for energy, but it has trouble doing it because all the receptors are full of fat. But so insulin level goes up and up and up, and eventually the pancreas says one day, can't take it no more, the pancreas dies. Then you need insulin to get sugar into the cell, okay? And that takes a while for that to occur, but insulin does many other things. besides put sugar in the cell. It opens the door to the cell, allows fat in. It's anabolic. So if you're on insulin, you're going to gain weight. Almost all people do. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, Dr. Kraft had autopsies on people with type 1 diabetes where you have no insulin, okay? He did autopsies on them. Some died from an accident, for example. Found no vascular disease, none. Oh, yeah. So he did the real thing, did the autopsies, okay? And anyone who's had insulin, normal people do, almost anyone who dies, even people that have had no problem in their lifetime, will have some evidence of vascular disease because they had to use some insulin to stay alive. Low levels of insulin their own body makes, okay? Insulin makes the arteries stiff. It causes dementia. It increased rates of cancer. About 40% of cancers are related to elevated insulins. Mm-hmm. You don't have diabetes, you're healthy, cancer rates go down. Been well proven. Breast cancer, for example, if you don't smoke, no more than 2 or 3 drinks of alcohol a week, avoid toxin, normal weight. For example, breast cancer rate goes down 50 to 70%. But do you ever hear Vera Bradley talking about it? I've been over there with my books. They're not talking about it. I'm talking about it. If I can prevent 50 or 70%, so I wrote a book called Breast Cancer Prevention is the Cure. If you can prevent 70%, don't you think maybe you'll be trying it? I think so, at least. I care about the people. Other books you could read about it. Excellent book is Goodbye Diabetes by Dr. Wes Youngberg. He went to the island of Guam, where the Japanese had flattened it, and they were eating American food, Spam and things, and they used to eat fish. Now they're eating American meats. And the natives, the beautiful, gorgeous natives, I saw pictures of them, beautiful, beautiful. Just like Columbus found the natives, beautiful. But it was soon wiped out by viruses. And now the natives are like this, and they're 90% diabetic. So Dr. Wes Youngberg went there, told them how to eat right. He developed his system of testing, which is in my one-page sheet here, which we showed you already, and which shows increasing blood sugars. Stage 1 high blood sugar, 85 to 94, but he doesn't mention insulin. I think the insulin testing is more accurate. Dr. Kraft's way and Mark Hyman talks about it. It is more advanced yet. So I like the Wes Youngberg. What he writes about in this book is excellent. And then we have The End of Diabetes, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, an excellent book I recommend reading, and gives you more details. But again, what type of foods? 70, 80% nutrient-dense foods of color, maybe a little bit of meat, some turkey, some chicken without skin on it. 1 or 2 days a week if you absolutely need to. So we didn't say you had to be a vegetarian, for example. I think in terms of flexitarian, a little bit of meat's fine. It's not sugar. Meat's not sugar. You don't want to eat too much. Eating steak 7 days a week, you're getting a lot of cancer products, a lot of insulin growth factors, increased rates of cancer. Don't do that. But you can get, what about my protein? You get plenty of protein by eating nuts, guacamole, some olives, for example. Even broccoli has plenty of protein in it. So you don't need to eat animal products to get your protein. So you don't have to be a vegan, vegetarian, or any of these things. But to lean in that direction, maybe have a smoothie in the morning. I like that because the nutrients that are in smoothies, you can come to the Three Rivers Pharmacy. I got recipes there on my Facebook site, kale at the bottom. And maybe use water for the liquid, maybe coconut milk. Don't buy them commercially because A lot of times they add so much sugar to it, it's not really healthy, but a smoothie a day will keep the doctor away. And because it meets your nutrient need and you won't be so hungry. Okay, a salad, maybe a little bit of meat, take a walk, play some music, go dancing. You won't get diabetes and it'll go away. Remember, you can get rid of it, I said, 6 weeks or so, okay? So those are excellent books. I've written others. Your Body on Fire is another one of mine. I'm going to finish writing this, Rudys' War on Diabetes. Here's another one I wrote years ago, The Golden Opportunity here, for example, how to prevent type 2 diabetes and its life-threatening consequences. Very short, overnight read. Now, what about a cookbook? What cookbook should you follow? There's so many of them out there. Remember I said smoothie, okay? I really like Dr. Furman's book, Quick Fix, Eat to Live. Dr. Joel Furman, you can get this, not that expensive. If you would eat out of this for 6 weeks, okay? Eat out of this 6 weeks. There are beautiful pictures in there. You can turn to anything, and it will be happy. Here's chilled sesame noodles and broccoli, for example. Creamed kale and sweet potatoes, for example. He has smoothies in their breakfasts, lunches, dinners, soups. And you do that 6 weeks, 90% chance diabetes is gone. Wouldn't that be worth it? Avoid all those diseases and probably live to be 100. Yeah. And as I already mentioned, remember there's certain racial and ethnic groups, and I imagine the Burmese will be on this list. They're going to die 20 years younger, have 25 years of disability, amputations, dislocations, blindness, hearing trouble, you name it. Dysautonomias, where the autonomic nerve is affected with gastric paresis and reflux, all sorts of illnesses that they are going to get that could be avoided. So I encourage you to act on it and come to my lectures. You can go to YouTube, Rudy Kachmann, Diabetes. Up will show up about 5 to 10 previous access shows, all on diabetes, because you need to be informed. You need to learn something, and don't be blind. Well, I'm eating okay. A lot of people say that, and they're not eating okay. You got to know this in great detail, or see me in the pharmacy for free coaching, TV shows. They'll also take Access TV here and put it on 95.7, develop the radio station on their noon Tuesdays, 8 a.m. Wednesdays, I think, and listen to some of the shows. And we thank Public Access for allowing this to be broadcast for free. So, I mean, that's really tremendous, because you don't want these complications from diabetes. Just think, most of Alzheimer's disease, 50, where you lose your memory and you end up in a nursing home, most of that's preventable. Over 50% is preventable. It's related to the serum insulin. Remember I said other things? Insulin has to be degraded by the IDE enzyme, and because the insulin is elevated, your brain needs sugar, although it can live off ketones too, that all the insulin, all the IDE enzyme is used up. But the other job of IDE enzyme is to degrade amyloid, which causes Alzheimer's disease. That's the reason a lot of people with type 2 diabetes develop dementia. We don't pay enough attention to that because the drug companies would invent something. That's where the money is, okay? But some have given up too. I noticed 2 drug companies really quit because they spent $1 billion and came up with no drug whatsoever. The drug Aricept, which is a drug, Dr. Peter Whitehouse wrote about this from the Cleveland Clinic, and he wrote that a number of years ago, that book, and I happened to read that. He said Aricept, the one that everybody's been given, he says it don't work. Maybe 6 weeks it helps a little bit. So I wrote a book called The Fraud of Alzheimer's Disease. It's on Amazon. Why is that? Well, if we're letting people have it, isn't it really? We don't educate them how to avoid it. I'm trying to tell you how to avoid it. I've even done a spoken word on diabetes, spoken word diabetes. I'll read you a little bit when I never get through this. I'll read a little bit of it to you. So that's poetry for teaching with music and dancing. I've done it for students before. So start spreading the news. I'm sick and tired of it. Diabetes is diabolical, crippling, and deadly. I'm walking through the heart of it. I'll show you how to do it. And I did tell you how to do it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Don't respect it. Get rid of it. Why get rid of it? It's a living hell. Blindness, dementia, loss of speech, paralysis, loss of teeth, big cause of dental disease, heart attacks and strokes, amputations, toes, feet, legs, renal and liver transplants, 30 years of disability, died 25 years too young. Get rid of it. My BMI is sky high. Fly me to the moon. I might die. Wheat belly, beer belly, stress belly, pear shape, apple shape. If you have those, you got to prove to me you're not diabetic. Okay? We all hate. It's a cause of it. Judgment-free zone. I should have said, it's a result of it. Okay? Our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. We're supposed to respect our body. Okay? Respect your body. Respect your body. Rudys good news. What a wonderful world. It can be prevented, stopped, reversed. Eradicate. Don't medicate. The time is now. Prevention, proven, powerful, possible. Do it, do it, do it. Heart disease and strokes are no joke. Memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's disease are no breeze. Dialysis, paralysis are no fun. Amputation, dislocation, and you're done. Get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I think that's all of that I'll read you. You can get copies of that at the pharmacy too. But I'm trying to emphasize to you to do something about it. So in summary, what can we do? Give you information so that you respect your body and say, I don't want these diseases. I personally think if you have faith that your God will want you to act on it because it's His body, and if you're not respecting it, He might be concerned and you should be concerned, okay? And you can start by eating correctly, okay? Maybe read a cookbook, then gather some information of these other books. If you need some counseling, see me at the Three Rivers Pharmacy. You can go to Facebook and watch a whole bunch of free YouTube shows on it, which 500 TV shows there, but if they're specific, you can say diabetes, just punch in and only the diabetes won't show up. If other ones on gluten or dementia or whatever. And so thank you very much for watching. We love you. This is normally on 6:30 Mondays, Public Access Comcast 57, and I thank them for that. And watch my YouTube shows, read some books, and come dance with me, or give me a hug, buy me a cup of coffee, exercise a little, sing a song, and you can get rid of this disease. We love you. That's why I do this. Thank you very much. Namaste, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.